welcome back for part 3 of our talk. This is I'm Dr. Brian Langlois, the Medical Director of the Humane League of Lancaster County, and we're doing a little bit of an educational series here on inappropriate elimination in cats. In the first part, I talked a little bit about some of the reasons cats may mark, going from medical to behavioral and things of that nature, and things to look for to kind of, be able to answer your veterinarian's questions in a way that will best enable people like me to help you as far as getting through your issues. The second part, we talked a little bit about the litter box itself, litter substrates, the ultimate litter box, things like that. And the third part, which I'm going to talk about now, is probably the hardest part that we have to deal with, which is more of the psychological or anxiety issues that some cats get that make them mark and make them feel that need. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in this third part, which hopefully won't run over time like the first attempt I did at this did. So let's look first at, anxiety issues in cats in general. Cats are very much creatures of habit. They don't enjoy change. They like their routines the way it is. They like things set, so that everything is easy for them, and they can freak out a little bit with subtle changes. And by subtle, I do mean subtle. Sometimes it could be something as simple as a renovation project that's going on, a new person that's coming to the house, or sometimes what will set them off too to look at is, especially in the spring and summer, when people start opening their windows. If there are cats that are roaming around the neighborhood stuff and they spray on bushes that are a little bit, around the property, that smell can come in, and that a lot of times is what causes cats to mark on windowsills and on screens and things of that nature to try to claim their territory, because they will smell other wild feral cats that are out there. Getting feral cats in your area spayed and neutered will actually help decrease that problem a little bit. There are also natural feral cat deterrents that are out there. I wouldn't recommend doing anything that would harm them or laying out poisons or things like that. That really has a negative effect and actually can lead to poisoning of other species unintentionally. So, you can talk with your veterinarian or your shelter managers or staff about that. But that is one reason why they will do it. Other subtle reasons can be, maybe a family member has come home and obviously a new animal has come into the house but is not really anywhere near that cat. And obviously the more obvious would be cats that kind of come in as new pets, or animals that come in as new pets, new babies that arrive, things of that nature. All of those things can set them off. Sometimes something as simple as just changing the detergent you wash the bedding with can set them off. So you really have to be attuned to what's going on, what's changing in the environment, especially if this is a new problem and you've ruled out medical issues. I will relay a story that there are certain instances where, a cat just likes to be alone. I know that a lot of times we do say cats sometimes enjoy the social interaction, the company of other cats. There is that percentage of cats that actually just do enjoy being solitary cats. And a cat that my parents have in New York was originally mine when I was working in a shelter way back when, before I was a vet. And we ended up getting another baby kitten that we had been fostering for a while. And from the time we got that kitten, the older cat would start marking around. And unfortunately, the baby kitten developed a aggressive type of cancer when he was about 5 years old, when we had to euthanize him. And as soon as we euthanized him, the older cat just stopped marking. So, that kind of said to us, no matter what we tried, it was really just that other cat. And there are situations like that, but those are few and far between. I don't want people jumping to that conclusion. Stress, like I was saying, cats are creatures of habit, so they don't like too much change, so pay attention if there's change. Now, dealing with that change can be very difficult. If it's a cat-on-cat aggression, sometimes, or like I mentioned in part 2, cats guarding litter boxes, you may need to provide another litter box in a space where this other cat feels safe. It's the same thing as food guarding. A cat can't guard both places at once, so you want to maybe provide a space. If there's a certain room or a corner of a room where this cat that maybe is a little more nervous, less than social, likes to hang out, that might be the spot to put the litter box, because they'll feel more comfortable in that space. So you definitely want to consider trying that. What else can we look at? I'm kind of going away from medications until the very end when I'll talk about that. But maybe spending a little bit more time with the cat, trying to work some social interaction. If it's a cat that's freaking out when the dog is there, maybe providing more time to the cat and trying to keep the dog away from a certain room or out of a certain room that the cat likes to claim as their own. So those are certain things you can try. Regarding medications, a lot of times people will come into veterinary offices and they'll say, my cat's marking, I want a drug to make it better. And we do see commercials for that from time to time, dealing with things like Prozac and amitriptyline and other anti-anxiety medications for animals. I'm not saying they don't work. What I'm saying is I think people have an unrealistic expectation as to how quickly they may work or how well they may work. Any kind of behavior modification, medication helps, but medication is not going to cure. There has to be some other work on the part of the owners and some modifications maybe in the apartment with the litter boxes, things like that, that are trial and error to make it work. Remember, anti-anxiety medications in animals are the same as anti-anxiety medications in people. They are not going to reach a level that is considered therapeutic or where it would work for sometimes up to 4 weeks. It takes a while to build these levels up. So you may not notice a difference on a certain drug until 3 to 4 weeks after you started it. That's important to know, so you have to be aware that it's not going to be a quick fix. You may have to switch some medications. Some medications, just like in people, work better than others, so that's another thing to keep in mind. The final thing I'll say about medications, because there's a ton out there, and you really need to speak with your veterinarian about this for case-specific things, because some, like I said, some meds will work in some cats, some it won't. But when you're dealing with medications, if you have a cat that is incredibly difficult to medicate, where you're chasing it around the house for 20 minutes just to give it a pill that's actually supposed to decrease its anxiety, you're being counterproductive. It's not going to work. All you're doing is heightening that cat's stress, and then the cat's going to start really freaking out in other ways, start drooling a lot, may run from you thinking it's going to get pilled all the time, and you're not solving anything. It's just going to heighten the marking more than likely, heighten the anxiety in the cat, and make both of you miserable. So, if you have a really stressed out cat, you may want to consider other methods or other methods of medicating. There are other compounded forms out there that you may want to try instead of straight pills. So that's important to remember. The last section that I'll talk about a little bit that's becoming more known and used a little bit is the use of kind of synthetic pheromones. And these are kind of scents, organic compounds and scents that are designed to invoke calmness in cats. And the most common one that most people know about is called Fell-Away. It does work fairly well in both its spray form and its kind of plug-in diffuser form. However, if you're using the plug-in diffuser, you have to make sure you're using enough of them to fill the square footage that you're dealing with. And if you have an environment where the air is being changed constantly, it may not reach the level you want it to. Check with the company. Some of them, have come out better. So there is a chance that they've addressed that problem, but that sometimes is a problem we notice. Spraying Fell-Away on areas, especially like windowsills, if cats tend to mark in those areas, you want to try to make sure that you spray those areas and follow the directions. You don't want to necessarily be wiping this stuff off. It's designed to invoke calmness, and if you take it away, you're taking away the point of the drug. The newer thing that's out there that I think holds a little bit more promise is actually pheromone collars. They look like flea collars. You can put them on the cat's neck, and this way you're ensuring that calm pheromone aroma and pheromone effect is always on the cat. And I have seen these used with a modicum of success, but again, it's a little bit of trial and error. You want to talk to your veterinarian about which one is out there, because there are a couple of brands out there now. The final area that I'll talk a little bit about, especially with marking, that people always want to know is what can I do to clean my surface to prevent them from marking again. If this is a hardwood surface like tile or floor, usually you can just get away with scrubbing it, but you really don't want to use anything that has a residual scent to it. And of course, our natural instinct is, oh God, it smells like cat pee, I'm going to cover it with something florally or flowery or something like that. All that's going to do is make the cat mark over that area again. And remember, cats' noses are far more sensitive than ours, so they may even be able to pick through all of that and realize that they still marked in the area, and they're going to mark on it again. The best cleaners that are out there really are the enzymatic cleaners. The things that actually break down the urine on the molecular level and just get rid of it. And what this does is this prevents the odor, prevents things. Anti-icky poo is a really good one that's out there right now. The miracle cleaners, things of that nature. You want something that's going to work as an enzymatic cleaner. Those tend to work really well, and it removes the odor, removes the stain, removes everything, so the cat really has no recollection, even by smelling, that they've marked there, and sometimes that'll help. Again, you want to check these things, for color fastness and all this other stuff to see what products it works on and what one it doesn't, because it can stain some products. I'm not necessarily endorsing one over the other. I know anti-icky poo is one of the newer ones that are out there, and I found that it works pretty well for me. But you may find ones that work a little bit different for yourselves. So that's kind of certain things you can try. Like I said, please don't necessarily give up right away when you're dealing with these issues with cats, because it can be trial and error. It can be a little bit of time, but these are fairly easy behavior problems to fix. People just have to understand that it's not going to be overnight in most cases. It's not going to be, very easy at times, and it can try your patience. Believe me, when I was going through the marking issue, when I was back home in New York, I'm surprised my mother didn't throw both myself and my cat out onto the street. So you have to be really patient with these issues. So I hope that's kind of given you guys at least a little bit of information on the inappropriate elimination issues. Remember, you can always talk to your veterinarian about individual cases. This talk is kind of a general thing. It's not meant to diagnose or treat any specific problem with your animal. So, you always need to talk to your veterinarian. And please, please, please really try to work with a shelter. Most shelters have people that are trained in these issues. They can work with you. They can make things easy. It's really not that expensive sometimes to go out and buy what I showed before, the ultimate litter box, and give that a try. Much as it's an inconvenience, try a lot of the things, putting litter boxes in different places. It really can make a difference. So, like I said, I hope you found this informative. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to email me at BLANGLOIS@humane, HUMANE, league, LEAGUE.com. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. If you have thoughts or suggestions for future topics to maybe do in this kind of shelter vet educational format, please let me know. Maybe your topic will be covered in another one. So I'm going to head out of the storage facility here and back out to the bright sunshine, and hope to hear from you soon, and hope you have a good day.